Today's topic is the third installment of our preaching series in September, Rediscovering Our Why. And today's topic is why the church? Why do we have a church? What is the purpose of the church? Do we even need a church? As Father Brett said in last week's homily, isn't having a personal relationship with Jesus enough, putting him at the center of our lives? Do we need a church at all? Well, I think we do. First of all, we need it because Jesus actually established it. In Matthew chapter 16, verse 18, he said to Peter, "And so I say to you, you are Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of the netherworld will not prevail against it." Jesus didn't instruct us to go it alone. He established a church headed by Peter. And that is why we have a hierarchical church today. We have Peter as the first pope, and we go down from there in a succession of popes. Jesus didn't say to the apostles, "Well, I want you to form a committee and make it a church." He put Peter at the head of the church. The other nice thing about it is Jesus told Peter that the gates of the netherworld will never prevail against it, which means the church will be here forever. It has God's backing. It is never going to go away. Secondly, Jesus gave the church divine authority. The very next verse in Matthew chapter 16, verses 19, "I will give to you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven." So he gave Peter and the apostles the authority, the divine authority, to basically provide the gates for us to heaven. And so the church is a vehicle by which we have the 7 sacraments: baptism, confirmation, Holy Communion, anointing of the sick, reconciliation, matrimony, and holy orders. Indeed, if we didn't have the church, how would the sacraments that were created by Jesus, how would they be conferred upon us? The church also guides us. In the early church, you saw from the second reading today from Paul's letter to Timothy, who was the bishop of Ephesus at the time, teaching him how to pray and for whom to pray for. The church guides us through these letters. The early letters from St. Paul to the Corinthians, the Romans, the Ephesians, the Galatians, the Philippians, the letters of St. Peter and St. James, the letter to the Hebrews, all provide us guidance as to how Jesus wants us to live our lives. And that guidance continues today through papal encyclicals, through decrees, through declarations from the Vatican. The church also established the books of the Bible. Through the magisterium, the church interprets the scriptures. If anybody has a Catholic Bible, you'll see all those footnotes down at the bottom. And they provide context. They give us a sense of what God intended with respect to the divine revelation of the scriptures. And those interpretations change over time as the magisterium gets new information from historical documents that are found, and also through divine revelation. The church also provides us with the Mass liturgies, whether it's our regular Mass on Sundays, baptism, funerals, weddings, and it keeps us founded in the ground here, and it gives us structure. Otherwise, everybody would be doing our own things. Now, is the church always right? No, it's a human institution. After all, Jesus chose as the first head Peter, who denied Jesus 3 times. But what happens is when the church goes astray, God always steers it back onto the right path. usually through various Vatican councils, like the Council of Ephesus, Nicaea, Vatican I, Vatican II, much like he led the Israelites as they were going through the desert, 40 years in the desert. He brought them back to the right path. Third, the church reflects that we are a communal people. And God created us that way. He created us communal. He created Adam and the animals, but he didn't just leave it there. He created Eve and granted them the ability to have children. He promised Abraham that his descendants would be as numerous as the stars in the sky. And the early church reflects this communal concept. If we go to Acts chapter 2, verses 42, it says, they devoted themselves to the teaching of the apostles and to the communal life, to the breaking of bread and to the prayers. And isn't this what is exactly reflected in our Mass? The teaching of the apostles through the readings, the breaking of bread, Eucharist, and obviously prayer throughout. We are a community of Catholic Christians. We work together to further Christ's mission. We worship together. We support each other, and we learn from one another. So what is our role in the communal church? Well, each of us is called to carry out Christ's mission. As part of the Christian community, we have a duty to our fellow Christians to contribute to it, not just to sit here and observe. We need to be active participants when we go to Mass. We're not just watching it like we're watching a TV show. We're not here to be entertained. We're not here to be watching like a play at a theater. We are actively praying. And there are plenty of opportunities to do so. One is, of course, to respond to the prayers during Mass. Singing during Mass, because when you sing, you pray twice. Becoming involved in the ministry of the church, whether it's Don's Helping Hands, aging industry, immigration, spread, our prison ministry, or becoming a greeter, Eucharistic minister, lector, becoming involved in Alpha. The church is the vehicle by which we can spread Jesus' mission. It's our support, our safe space. Through the Eucharist, we're given nourishment and strength to continue that mission. But we can't be passive about it. It is intentional, and it is not easy. But that's why God made us. He made us to work together, to be a communal people, and to help others. And so, if we all work together, and we actively participate in the church, we can do great things together in carrying out God's mission. Because as we all know, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts.